You were supposed to start something last week. You didn't, not because you couldn't, because it wasn't ready yet. The plan wasn't complete. The timing wasn't right. You weren't confident enough. If you can't move until everything's perfect, you're not strategic. You're trapped. Here's what nobody's telling you. You've moved with less certainty before. You've succeeded despite imperfect conditions. But somewhere you started believing perfect preparation prevents failure. It doesn't. It prevents movement. By the way, this isn't about lowering standards. Standards without execution are fantasies. What I'm going to show you is how asymmetry creates actual power. The Japanese had a principle for this, a Zen understanding that separated warriors who adapted from those who broke. Not perfection, not symmetry, something opposite, Fukinsei. The acceptance of strategic imperfection, the practice of building balance through intelligent unevenness. By the end, you'll apply this once tomorrow. Start one thing that isn't ready, make one decision without complete information, and you'll feel how different decisive action actually is. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why perfectionism is making you fragile and the one shift that makes you adaptable. If this already feels necessary, you belong here. Consider subscribing and walk this path with the Last Ronin. You have a project you want to start. Good one. Clear value. You can see how it would work. But you haven't started, not because you don't have time, because the conditions aren't perfect yet. You need to research more, plan better, wait for the right moment. Notice how long you've been saying that. You've been preparing for so long, you think preparation is the same as progress. This morning you were supposed to reach out to someone. Important connection, could open doors, but you didn't, because the message wasn't perfect yet. You'd sound better if you waited, if you refined it more, if you had more to offer first, so you saved it as a draft. Again, and now it has been 3 weeks, and the opportunity is cooling. You do this constantly. Wait for perfect confidence before speaking up, perfect clarity before deciding, perfect readiness before moving. And while you are waiting for symmetry, life stays asymmetric, so nothing moves. Right now you are working on something, but you are stuck in revision, tweaking, perfecting. Not because it is not good enough, because you are terrified of releasing something that shows your actual level. And every day you delay is another day someone else moves with less. This is the mistake that keeps you static for years. You think perfectionism protects you from judgment. It doesn't. It protects you from visibility. And visibility is where power forms. Your standards aren't high, they're defensive. You are not pursuing excellence. You are avoiding exposure. And the cost compounds daily. That thing you were supposed to start last month. Still not started. That decision you needed to make. Still unmade. That version of you that actually executes, still waiting for conditions that will never arrive. Not lack of capability. Perfectionist paralysis. You are demanding flawless symmetry in a world that is built on asymmetry. And asymmetry always wins. This is where you get stuck. The Last Ronin does not wait for perfect conditions. He moves with what he has, not recklessly decisively. You think that is lowering standards. It is not. It is Fukinsei, the Zen principle of strategic imperfection. The samurai didn't train for flawless technique. They trained until imperfect execution was still effective. This is where most men misunderstand readiness. Readiness isn't about having everything aligned. It is about moving when alignment is sufficient. The Ronin's blade has irregularities from the forge. His stance adapts to terrain. His timing shifts with circumstance. Nothing perfectly symmetrical. Everything strategically uneven. And that unevenness is what makes him dangerous. Right now, you are doing the opposite. You are refusing to move until every variable is controlled. But control is an illusion. The tree that refuses to bend breaks in the storm. The rigid plan collapses under pressure. The perfect version never launches because perfect never arrives. Fukinsei teaches something you've forgotten. Balance isn't created through symmetry. It is created through intelligent adaptation to asymmetry. The Ronin doesn't have perfect information. He decides anyway. He doesn't have perfect timing. He moves anyway. He doesn't feel perfectly confident. He acts anyway, not because he is reckless, because he understands something you don't. Imperfect action generates feedback, and feedback creates refinement. But waiting for perfection generates nothing. If this is already naming something you feel, stay with me, because in 2 minutes, I am going to give you the exact framework that breaks perfection paralysis permanently. You lost this somewhere in the optimization culture and comparison metrics and visible scorekeeping. You started believing flawless execution was required. Now you are frozen by your own standards. And frozen means powerless. Your brain needs the delay not because perfection is achievable, because delay feels like progress. Every time you refine the plan, your brain rewards you. Dopamine, relief. I am getting closer. But you are not closer. You are just not exposed yet. Watch what happens. You are about to launch something. It is ready, good enough, brain. Wait, you could make it better. So you wait. And while you wait, you are safe. No criticism, no failure, no evidence you are not as good as you think. Someone asks when you are starting, brain. Soon, I just need to finalize a few things. Translation, I need conditions to be perfect, so I don't have to face what my actual level is. You are not refining. You are hiding, notice how often you say I am almost ready. None of this is strategic, it is fear disguised as thoroughness. And your brain reinforces it because perfectionism gives you permission to never be judged. If you never release the imperfect version, no one can point out the flaws. If you never start without complete readiness, no one can see you struggle. If you never decide without total certainty, no one can prove you wrong. So you stay in preparation, indefinitely, and you call it being responsible. But you are just scared. Scared men don't fail dramatically. They fail quietly by never starting. Because when real movement is required, real decisions, real visibility, real stakes, you can't do it. You are still waiting for the perfect moment. And the perfect moment is always tomorrow. Stay with me. This changes how tomorrow works. Here is what the Ronin knows that you refuse to accept. Perfection doesn't create power, adaptive execution creates power. The goal isn't flawless symmetry. The goal is sufficient effectiveness despite asymmetry. That is Fukinsei, not excellence as aspiration. Effectiveness as practice. Here is the law: move when it is good enough. Refine while moving. Not when it is perfect. When it is sufficient. No more waiting for ideal conditions. Good enough. Now then, improve in motion. This is the shift that separates adaptive men from frozen ones. You can't do this yet because your identity is tied to appearing flawless. Every delay protects that image. Every refinement delays exposure. Every "I am not ready yet" keeps you safe from judgment. But safe means static, and static means irrelevant. The samurai trained differently. Act with what you have. Adjust based on feedback. Repeat. Imperfect strike. Learn. Refine next time. Uncertain decision. Move. Adapt to outcome. Incomplete preparation. Start. Fill gaps while executing. Until adaptive action became automatic. Until they stopped needing perfect conditions to move with power. Here is what nobody tells you. You've already delayed longer than the task would have taken. Here is how you start. Tomorrow, identify one thing you are delaying because it is not perfect yet. The message you haven't sent, the project you haven't launched, the decision you haven't made. And ask, is this sufficient to move? Not perfect. Sufficient if yes, and it probably is. Move immediately. Send the imperfect message. Launch the incomplete version. Make the uncertain decision. You'll feel exposed. Your brain will scream that you are not ready. Ignore it. Move anyway. That is one rep of Fukinsei. And the moment you act before everything's perfect, you feel something shift. Power returns to movement. Not preparation, not flawless execution, just execution. Do this once tomorrow and you've broken the pattern. Do it daily for a month and perfectionism loses its grip. You stop needing ideal conditions. You start creating momentum regardless of symmetry. And momentum is what actually builds things. Message: you're drafting something important. It's been sitting for days. Old pattern: revise endlessly. Never send. Wait for perfect wording. New pattern: read it once. If it communicates the point, send it now. It won't be perfect. It'll be sufficient. And sufficient moves the situation forward. Project: you're building something. It's 80% ready. Old pattern: spend weeks on the final 20%. Never launch. Keep perfecting. New pattern: launch at 80%. Refine based on real feedback, not imagined standards. The feedback makes version 2.0 better than your perfect version ever would have been. Decision: a big choice. You don't have all the information. Old pattern: delay. Research more. Wait for certainty. New pattern: assess what you know. Decide based on sufficient information. Adjust if wrong. Wrong decisions with momentum beat perfect decisions that never happen. Conversation, you want to speak up, but you're not sure how it'll land. Old pattern, stay silent, wait until you can say it perfectly. New pattern, say it imperfectly, clarify if needed, but enter the conversation. Imperfect presence beats perfect absence. Standards, you're evaluating your work. It's not as good as you imagined. Old pattern, feel like a failure, hide it, start over. New pattern, release it anyway. Let reality teach you what needs improving. Visible imperfection beats invisible perfection. Here is what changes when you stop demanding symmetry. You stop delaying action until conditions align. You stop hiding behind preparation. You stop waiting for the perfect version of yourself. Old, you needed everything flawless before moving. New, you moves with sufficient readiness and refines in motion. Old, you protected your image by never showing your actual level. New, you builds your level by showing it publicly and adapting. Old, you is rigid, perfect, or nothing. New, you is fluid, good enough. Then better. Most people will understand this idea. Very few will actually live it. If you are choosing movement over perfection, subscribe and continue training with the Last Ronin. Because this isn't motivation, it is practice. This isn't lowering standards. This is Fukinsei, strategic imperfection that creates adaptability. Almost no one operates this way anymore. A perfectly straight tree snaps in the wind. A bent tree survives the storm. People sense it before they understand it. You don't delay anymore. Don't over-prepare. Don't hide behind not ready yet. You just move imperfectly, then adjust, and that creates momentum. Others can't match. Something breaks, and you adapt without waiting for ideal conditions. Something goes wrong, and you adjust in real time. They'll ask, how do you move so decisively? You won't have a dramatic answer. You just stopped waiting for perfect. That is it. Sufficient. Now refine while moving. Repeat. Until adaptive execution became automatic. Until you stopped needing flawless conditions to act with power. That is Fukinsei, and once you have it, perfectionism stops controlling you. Because your strength is no longer in appearing flawless. It is in adapting effectively. The Last Ronin doesn't wait for perfect conditions. He trains in motion. If you are ready to stop waiting, subscribe and continue the discipline. The adaptive version of you isn't waiting. It is built through action.